So today we're working on my 2004 Baja Turbo. It's 5-speed manual. 2004 Baja Turbo. 5-speed. I've had it for a little over a year. I bought it pretty reasonably. Previous owner thought that the engine was knocking. 199,000 miles. Runs great. Original engine, I think. So I bought it and got it home, and it wasn't actually knocking, and it was the timing belt auto tensioner. You might have seen from one of my other videos how those can be a problem. And when those fail, they'll either send the timing belt, break it, or they will make a knocking noise or a clacking noise, often mistaken for rod knock. However, when I started it and drove it around, it wasn't actually knocking. And so I pulled the engine because the clutch was shot anyway, and I needed to do that. And I put new timing components on it, and I actually found that it had to have been the belt tensioner that was knocking, because it's a manual car, and on the manual cars, there's a belt guard over the crank pulley, which I install on all cars now that have a timing belt. But this is what happened. That belt was jumping and would have jumped teeth and broken had it not been for the belt guard. Because look at that. I mean, that's savage. That belt guard rubbed that sucker and chewed that belt up. But it saved the engine. So today we're gonna upgrade it a little bit. I've got some parts for it. I actually started before. I apologize, I'm not giving you the whole process. It all started when my O2 sensor went out and my check engine light came on and it wasn't reading. I thought this is the perfect time to use my Cobb downpipe that I had for an 05 Legacy GT. And that car's long gone. I put a twin scroll on it with an EJ20X and it's gone. So my problem is the bracket that mounts to the transmission didn't match because it's a different car. So I fabbed one up here, and also it's too long. This downpipe is longer. So I had to cut 4.5 inches out of my exhaust, which I already fabbed this exhaust to fit. It's supposed to fit a WRX, and I read on a forum that it would fit a Baja, but it didn't. So I fabbed it. I had to cut and re-weld the hangers, but it fit and it sounded great. So now we're gonna have 3-inch turbo back. It's gonna be sick. I'm so excited. We've got a WRX intercooler. We've got a 2004 STI turbo. It's a VF43 is the number. And we've got a 3-way boost control solenoid. It's a Grimspeed brand. 3-way boost control valve. It's just a Mac valve is all it is. You reroute some of your turbo boost lines to it. One line goes to your intake. I talked to a guy that's an enthusiast because I'm like, I've never tuned a turbo car. I've never, poured the coals to a turbo car, and I don't know what type of stuff I should add. What else should I be thinking about? And he said, you need an AEM 340 fuel pump. He said, if you are building big boost and you are in boost, and that fuel pump that may be original, 199,000 miles on the car, and that thing cuts fuel, you're in trouble. Also, I read on the forum, if you put that STI ECM in and you want to retain your factory cruise control in the Baja, you have to have this part number, neutral start switch, 32008AA074. Straight out of a forum. Well, guess what? I bought it. It was $30. Now I have it. This is the Baja bypass valve. And the way the hose routes, I think I'm going to use... Well, I ordered a STI bypass valve on Facebook from a guy, and that should be coming pretty soon. And I'm going to route that. Instead of having that hose come up around like this, I'm going to have it come underneath and hook in under here where the factory bypass valve is for the STI. Finally got all my parts. This hose right there that goes down underneath and into that inlet Fits a lot better than this thing. We've got an 04 STI ECM, and I've got a cob access port for an 04 STI because the Bajas never were supported by that because they're kind of the ostracized member of the family. Time for the ECM swap. You gotta dig out the carpet. There's a little clip there. There was a clip up here, and there's a clip over there. And then there's a nut there. 1, 2, 3 bolts. And then this comes off. Maybe. Oops. And underneath. Ha! There it is. There's the computer. Coming out. Okay. You are no longer a Baja Turbo. It's official, you are a Baja STI. So I have a base map until I get it tuned. And I'm gonna take my cob access port home. I'm gonna plug it into my computer. We're gonna download the map, and then we're gonna download the map to the car. Upload the map to the car. Up, down, up, down, up, down. And then we're gonna see what happens. One thing to note for you viewers that have cob access ports, if you ever turn the key on and this thing lights up and you click connect to car and it just says verify that the ignition is on and it won't do anything, check this connection down here, unplug it, plug it back in, make sure it's tight, maneuver it a little bit. I read a lot of stuff online. Guys would call Cobb and Cobb would say, here, try a new cable, either that or it's your ECM or your OBD port is shot, and people would replace their port. Some people would even send their ECM in to have checked. Some people would send their cob access port off to have checked, and nothing would ever fix it. And I thought maybe that's my problem here, but I just unplugged that and messed around with it a little bit, plugged it in, and it took right off. So I'm very, very grateful for that. We're gonna make some power. I don't wanna get crazy, I don't wanna get radical. I don't wanna blow stuff up, melt stuff down, but I wanna build a little bit more power. And it's gonna sound wicked amazing. And I can't wait. You gotta have fun with at least one car, right? Okay, so last time I tried to do this to a car, I fried the computer. So my heart's only beating slightly faster than normal. So we turned the screw on this thing and added a bunch of boost. With a 200,000 mile engine, anything can happen, and it would have lasted a long time had I probably not poured the coals to it. But with all these mods and then the increased boost and tune, we accelerated the wear process, and I spun a rod bearing. Actually, I didn't get very far. So the next video is going to be of the engine replacement process. I bought an EJ255 from a 2010 or 2011 Legacy GT, and we're going to make that sucker work. Stay tuned for the next episode. Well, I made it about a mile, and she died, so I don't like the sounds coming from up front. The day ain't over, my friend. Okay, here's the old oil pan. Feel like I'm straining for gold here. Can you tell that I lost a rod bearing? The excitement is real! My EJ255 from a 2010 Legacy GT has arrived. It is here. Hang in here, let's have a little fun.